right, I am back home visiting family out of the city for the 4th of July. It is very hot, it is very humid, but one of the great joys about getting out of New York City, even though we have these, but it just kind of works better in middle America, is a good high school track for a workout. Because if you're local in New York, you know our track situation is it's not great ever since the East River track closed, especially for a Manhattan guy like me. But I'm here early morning, about 6 a.m. before it gets up to about probably 100 some degrees today. I think we checked before this, it's like 97% humidity. So very soupy out here. But I've got a workout 10 by 800 with a 200 meter float in between. I'm gonna take those 800s at like a 330 kilometer pace here. Following up on the shoe video, which thank you to everybody for all the love on that. As someone who loves gear, it is nice to know that there are a lot of us out there. But I'm gonna be running in the Pro 4s. I know I mentioned in that video that I don't usually do a lot of track work in these. However, since I am traveling, I didn't want to travel with the 7 pairs of shoes that you would have seen in that video. So I just thought, what is a shoe I can bring for the marathon pace miles that I'm gonna have to do while I'm home? What is a shoe I can do track work in? And it's also just gonna make easy runs feel very easy. It's the Pro 4 here. So be wearing these shoes for this. Another gear check is somebody also mentioned how they really enjoy when I just say what I'm wearing. These are the Oakley top coats, which is really the only piece of gear I'm gonna be wearing out here. I guess these UV split shorts, but I don't know if that really counts to just shorts. It's a little too hot for any other gear. So with that being said, I'm gonna warm up, about a mile warm up, so 4 laps around the track, and then get into these 800s. All right, that is the workout done. That was way harder than I would like to admit. I think I underestimated the heat and humidity quite a bit, but got it done, all 10 reps. Slightly slower, probably I think anywhere between 6 to 10 seconds a rep slower than I wanted to be, but maybe that's to be accounted for the humidity. I think it's already pushing up to 90 right now. Beginning the question if 6 a.m. is early enough for these workouts, because this is one of a handful that I have to do while I am home. This is just the only track kind of fast workout. Just keeping it real with you that it was very hard. Nothing like feeling like you're really out of shape at 6 in the morning. But now that I've sweat just about my entire body weight out of me, I need to get some water, some electrolytes, some food, some caffeine, and then enjoy just hanging out at home with the family. I just finished a 19K easy run out on this trailhead here, which is super nice because where my parents live, it's not easy to find places that have long stretches of mileage. And so this is where I usually come when I come to visit my family. I come out here to do all of my easy long runs and all the rest of it. Because where my parents live as well is incredibly hilly, and not like, oh, you just train hills hilly, but like you can't really run or hold pace at all type of hilly. So coming out here to a place where I can just go run like 13, 14, 15 miles in a straight shot is super nice. So finish that here. I'm getting bit up by all the bugs. That is also one of the downsides of being here, is that the mosquitoes and these little like biting flies are everywhere, and I'm covered in bug bites, I think, from that run. It's also very hot and humid as the theme of training this week. So I'm gonna wrap up here, get in the car, kind of debrief on how training has gone this week. I'm gonna go pick up my sister and I think go to Dunkin', get a little iced coffee, probably a donut as well. So that was the plan for this morning. Let's get wrapped up, get in the car. So now that the kind of bulk of my runs while I am home visiting family are done, aside from one more long run I'm gonna do, I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about kind of training when traveling and this type of thing, because I travel a lot. I'm very fortunate to do so, but traveling home to visit family is like a very different type of thing when it comes to training, and it's something that I am very cognizant of when I am home, that like I don't have that much time with my family, living as far away from them as I do, and that it's not always the most chill thing in the world to just like disappear for hours at a time to go run. And less so as it pertains to myself, but you know, I work as like a coach, and I've been doing it for a very long time, and I think one of the biggest things that I think a lot of people miss, especially in like the culture of like social media discipline, like the go one more of it all and all the rest of it, is that like people have normal lives with responsibilities and relationships and all of that stuff that don't revolve around their training and their fitness. And like I'm in a very fortunate position where, especially with like my family and my friends, there is this sense of like, oh, it's like what he does for a living. So like this is like Alex's thing. He goes and runs, he goes to the gym, he like eats a little bit differently, you know, that whole thing. But there's a lot of friction there that causes for most people, and I think what gets lost in a lot of like the discourse around training and all the rest of it is that like that's like a real barrier to like discipline and success, and it's not always like a bad thing. And the reason I'm saying all this is because, you know, when I'm home on this stretch, program wise, I got to run every single day. Yesterday I had a morning run and an evening run I was supposed to do. So just kind of like these easy runs, which not crazy high mileage. The runs themselves weren't going to be super long, but you know, I wake up and my mom is up because she's making breakfast for my whole family. My niece is in town, my brother, my sister, everybody. We're rarely all together in the same place anymore. And it's not cool to just be like, sorry, I'm gonna miss breakfast, or I'm not gonna be there for this because I have to go run 10K in the morning. And then same thing in the evening. You know, my family wants to sit, like order in dinner, watch the World Cup, and I have a 40-minute easy run on the calendar. And I just didn't run yesterday because, you know, it's not like an issue of discipline. Oh, you should have gone at like 11 p.m. and woken up at 4 a.m. to do it. Like, that sounds great on Instagram. It doesn't sound great when like you're actually living a normal life. And the reason I'm saying all this is because I think that a lot of the like nuances of daily life get lost when people talk about like training on YouTube, on the just the internet in general, that like people have real lives. Even the people like me that do this for a living, that are very like hyper disciplined, that can like justify a lot of these kind of over the top behaviors for somebody who is not a professional athlete, because I do this in the capacity for a living, that like people like myself skip runs to have French toast with their mom when they're visiting them for the 4th of July. And I'm not a hero for doing that. Like, I'm just a normal person who should probably do that and recognize that training blocks are long, and missing one easy run to have a like shared moment with the people you love when you don't get to see them that often is more important on the day, and recognizing that and kind of submitting to that. Now, that being said, like, to keep it totally real with you, obviously it bothers me that I didn't get those runs in. You know, it's not like I put my head on my pillow last night and I was like, oh man, like, I'm such a good son, I'm such a good brother, like that's way better than going on a run. No, there was a very real part of me that was just like, you're washed, you're soft, you should have gone out there and done that and got those runs in. But you know, you just wake up and you go the next day and you do the run. You try not to miss the really important workouts if you can, and if you do, find a way to fit them back into your schedule in a way that makes sense and works. And overall, with anything, whether it's running, whether it's nutrition, whether it's lifting, consistency over the long run is the thing that really dictates success, not making sure you get that one workout in, that one run in, that one meal absolutely dialed in. It's the consistency over time that will bring the results that you want to see. And knowing that, being true to that, and focusing on that consistency as opposed to perfection is the thing that is going to bring me closer to that sub-3 goal in New York. It's going to be the thing that may bring you closer to having the body you want, to hitting that PR in the gym, whatever it may be. Consistency is key, not perfection. So I'm going to enjoy the rest of my time here in Ohio with my family. I'm going to enjoy the 4th of July. I hope when you're watching this, I hope you guys already enjoyed your 4th of July or whatever you're doing on this long weekend as well. And I will catch you in the next one.